Hello, National University Academy students. This is Mr. Boyette going over Unit 6 and 7 in biology with you. We're going over the study of heredity, or the subject of genetics. We're going to talk about Mendel. We're going to talk a little bit about genes and alleles and show how traits are inherited both in plants and in people. So let's first talk a little bit about the Punnett square, and to do that, William Mollison is going to give you a little explanation of that.
The Punnett square is explained simply by square 1 is capital F, and then square 2 is lowercase capital F, and then square 3 is capital lowercase f, and then square 4 is lowercase. And then for number 2 on the quiz, the scientific study of hereditary is called genetics. And then number 3 in this quiz is capital B equals black fur, and then lowercase b equals lowercase brown fur. So that the phenotype of the offspring in box 3 would be black because capital B is the dominant trait. And then for number 4 of the quiz, Mendel discovered that inheritance of one trait has no effect on another, and that's called independent assortment. And for 5 on the quiz, most sex-linked genes are not carried on the X chromosomes and are recessive.
Good. Thank you, Will. Did you say the page numbers as you're going through this?
Nope.
Okay, so I'll go over that very quickly. So Mendel is known as the father of genetics. He's going to carry out a more systematic evaluation of how genetics works. This was discovered 200 years before he was doing it, but he did it in a very scientific way, and that's why he's known as the father of genetics. You'll need to know that for number 6 on your first quiz. Crosses that involve 2 characters. An example of that is when you have, let's say, round peas or wrinkled peas, yellow or green. So your dominant is capital R, your dominant is capital Y. So if I have a dominant R, I'm going to end up with round. If I have a dominant Y, I'm going to end up with yellow. If I have my lowercase, I'm going to have wrinkled for R. If I have my lowercase for the color, I'm going to have green. So I'm looking at a chart where I'm marking which item I have. For those traits, if I have lowercase r, uppercase y, I'm going to have round yellow. You'll notice the uppercase r here. So when these hit, the dominant is going to suppress this, or this is going to be recessive. You have a capital R, then the y comes in there, and that's going to be yellow because these are both y. And then for number 8, if R is dominant to lowercase r, the offspring will display the same phenotype as the RR parent, or the dominant parent. That's on page 172. And finally, for Unit 6, an allele is a different version of the gene, page 167. And to just read that for you quickly, it says, today the different versions of a gene are called its alleles. As shown in figure 4, an individual receives one allele from each parent. Each allele can be passed on when an individual reproduces. So we talked last time about haploid and diploid cells, those 23 cells that come over in the human cell from haploid to the diploid cell. So if you had the dominant for blue eyes or blonde hair, and then the 223 came over to as a dominant allele, you would end up with brown eyes or blue eyes, depending on which one was the dominant in that case. So we're going to talk more about genotype and phenotype as we go. I'm going to pause here, and then I'm going to come back to you with more on Unit 7.